And they'll tell you, and they'll tell you, or you might have heard, if it doesn't challenge you, then it doesn't change you. And so lies the benefit, the advantage of following a plan, sticking to your determined and directioned key and essential guidances. A lot of times we think we're doing what we want because we're confused as to what it is that we actually want. And through doing it is, of course, how we can clarify. We can attain and arrive at clarity. You'll hear if it doesn't change you, or rather, you'll hear if it does not challenge you, then it will not, then it can't change you, then it doesn't change you. So, and you'll see where in doing what it is that your heart craves, that your heart urges you, that your soul prefers, as well as insists, through, your integrity, through your own self-worth and self-respect, as well as principles and core values, as well as standards, as a response to that, in reference and in respects to these aspects of yourself that make you who you are, in pursuing, in entertaining, and involving these different desires and passions. You will see where, and in respects to all of life and to the universal environment that is the settings of your life and the life of your loved ones and the love of those living, of your lifestyle, you'll see where it becomes challenging to even do what it is that you truly want to do. It's not always the case, at least not initially. And sometimes it is initially, and then it becomes less through, of course, your perseverance, or even just being that you're doing something different. Which that's what a challenge is, right? A challenge is always going to be something new. Yes. You understand? And what's interesting is, and what I'm saying, what I'm getting at it, and what I'm saying to you, something is rarely challenging when it's not new. Because once you learn it, it becomes less and less challenging the more you do it. But that's not always the case either. It really depends, right? And so what I'm saying is a fuller thing is what I'm saying is more fuller, okay? I'm not talking about just insignificant ass little activities. I'm not talking about little, fucking hobbies. I'm not talking about, frivolous sort of recreational engagements. I'm talking about your purpose, okay? I'm talking about your divine purpose, right? And even aside from all of that super serious, I'm talking about something along the lines of a pursuit, a investment, because that's what energy is. That's what time is. That's what actions are. They are investments. Okay, that's what thoughts are. That's what decisions are. That's what desires are investments. Okay? I'm speaking of not only just significant, I'm speaking of essential things, right? Not just what you want to do, but also what is good to do. Which my argument was firstly that it is good to do what you want, and also through what you want, you will grow towards what's even better, right? Because see, that's the whole thing about newness, right? It's the newness in it is an improvement from what it is that you are used to, yes? So anything that would challenge you would be new to you. But that's not always the case, right? It may be connected to what it is that you already do like, right? But it's just more advanced, it's more extensive, right? It's developed, you know what I mean? It's an upgraded level of that activity or investment, right? Before I lose myself in what it is and lose what I'm saying and what I'm saying, because I'm following myself. You know what I mean? This was an inspired thought, right? Because I read something about how I'm admitting to this because it was only worded in a way that I hadn't thought to mention. And you know what I mean? Primarily. But this is also a part of what it was that I was saying, but I didn't really say it in this way. So that's why I wanted to reiterate it as far as it challenging you and changing you. Well, that's what I mean. That's also what I mean in your development of your preferences, of your where you gravitate towards, of your desires, and your development of your prerogative, basically. Because the will is your right. You understand? And the same as in your right is your will. Yes? That's what they mean when they say when you relinquish your rights. Yes? You have the blessing. You were born with the assignment, with the opportunity to take action in any direction so as to liberate anything that is compromising towards the fuller fruition of your spirit, right? The fuller development as well as unraveling and cultivation and expansion of your life energy, which is, your mind, your actions, you know what I'm saying? Your contribution as well as sacrifices, you feel me? Your exchanges, each exchange, your decisions, to be specific. Yes? Which starts with thoughts, right? Which starts with actions. Being action is a thought in itself, no? So it's all action. As far as challenge, though, right? That's how you grow in itself. If it does not challenge you, then it will not change you. And change is growth. We're talking about growth in towards development and not just deterioration, because that's also a change as well, yes? And that's the risk of also, you know what I mean? And that's I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I also said actions. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking about how, the redundancy, or rather the obvious context of actions and words. And then I'm also speaking about the obvious context of doing what you want to do. When these go without saying, these are all taboo. These are not necessarily taboo though. They've been forced into a cliche taboo realm, because it takes that real, finishing, that real journeying, that real development. You know what I'm saying? That actual investment, right? Which becomes more challenging no matter what, to continue to do what it is that you're doing. That's why you always end up having to change anyway, right? And that's what I was also getting at before. Hopefully I'm gonna remember. What's funny is, like, as long as I stay on what it is that I was meant to mention, I always come back to one part that I didn't include. And then there's all these different little drops in between, right? You're gonna end up changing anyway. Just before I explain myself out of it. Explain myself off of it. You're gonna end up changing anyway. It's you know what I mean? It's hard to do anything, to continue to do anything without having to either compromise, and or complicate. Compromise or complicate, right? Which is a change, right? It's hard to do any one thing, right? And that's why it's worth choosing, making the choice as to exactly what it is you're doing. As far as the challenge, though, a lot of times we think we may want one thing, or we may be confused as far as exactly all of the part of it that we actually are interested in, right? Because, of course, it's something we never done, which would be a challenge, which is always great. Then how do we even know that that's what we really want, right? Now, you may already be doing what it is that you want to do, but that's only because you're exposed to so much of a range, right? And through continuing and doing more of what you're doing every time, right? Because as you're doing anything, you're growing, you're learning it, right? That means that it's just that much more graceful in every other attempt. The more you do it, the more you do of it, right? So that opens up that opportunity, right? That opens up that window, that will, right? That right. Yes, it opens up the right. Hey, I be letting you have it, yo. You got that part of me, like, I'm speaking to my niggas, yo. Like, happy is fucking furious, nigga, for us, nigga. Right? Not like, oh, confrontational. It's like pumped, bro. You know what I'm saying? So don't be, you know what I mean? Don't take me wrong. You know what I mean? I understand and I appreciate, though, and I cherish your ear if I can be received. And so I know that there's a message. And so I don't want to undermine that. As far as that will and that right, that's opened up in the more that you do of what it is that you do, of whatever it is that you're doing, right? You do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it every day until next week for a month. By the end of that next month, it's going to be a cinch for you, right? So that is a margin that's widening from that same willpower, because you only got so much willpower, love, right? To do any one particular thing, regardless or irrespective of however challenging it is to you. Whether you're familiar with the activity involved, or you're confused or clear as to the correct method or not, right? You're going to start at in a particular propensity, in a particular frequency or vibrancy, a particular oscillation, a particular degree, right? You're going to start at a particular degree of intensity, right? You can go full-fledged, you can give it all you got, just because that's what it is you do when you do new things, right? No matter what it is, or even when you do whatever, something different or something more, or whatever it is, you put your heart in everything you do, right? As far as doing more and more of it, by the end of that second month, what you did that first day or that first week, because you got to, give yourself some leg room, right? To wiggle. You do one thing, you can do it tomorrow, and you're like, oh snap, I did it wrong the first time. Okay, by the middle of the month, nigga, I did it wrong. I've been doing it wrong this whole time, but that took me this whole half a month just to see, you know what I mean, what I thought. You understand? And that's why action is so fucking heaven sent. It's so miraculous, bro. No matter what it is that you're doing, it's always going to round itself out. That is the cycle of actualization, right? That's the cycle of living, of life, of energy, the cycle of fucking 360 degrees, basically, too. That's the cycle of continuing, right? So I'm gonna put it to you like this too also. You gotta stay at whatever you start at, right? You gotta stay at what you start at to begin with. That's why I'm gonna give my all in nothing, right? So that I can be giving my nothing in my all, so I can always build on top of my best I'm going to give my all, even in nothing. So that you have to be able to do this. And it's scary because it's like, oh, niggas gonna be like, oh shit, nigga, what you been doing all day? Shit, man, I've been doing completely and absolutely nothing today. And if you can sit up and do that, you better make sure you do all of it until you're doing something different. Otherwise, you only doing more or less of that fucking nothing you doing. So I try to, and it's hard for me to not do nothing. What brought me to ever doing nothing, brother, changed me, nigga. Forever, nigga. I'm not a nigga not doing nothing, homie. But that's what I'm saying. In life, it becomes a challenge. First of all, to do what you want, to do what your destiny is. You'll see. Right? Even in your success, even in the fucking grace and ease that you're able to unlock through that will and right. It's always going to be a point where you get to where you got to fall back. Right? In the interest of the fuller spectrum, in the interest of all of the hard work that you've put in, not turning in on itself. Right? Real talk, bro. I'm talking about mastery, my nigga. I'm talking about artistry right now, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about curiosity, nigga. I'm talking about, nigga, intense focus and intention, my nigga. From whatever degree you start at, you stay at, is what I'm saying to you, right? So you got to be able to be doing all type of shit so you can gauge your range, you see what I'm saying, in the spectrum, you feel me? Yes? So when you get in, you know what I mean, you're going to have a little bit of a, you know what I'm saying, a little buoyancy, right? You're going to have a teetering, right? You're going to have a little leverage, right? You're going to have some leverage from whatever degree, whatever amount of degree is your leverage. That's also another aspect as well, right? You got to know your full capacities, right? Your style of even how you even perform things, you know what I mean, of achieving, right? As far as if you're going to start slow and then finish off with a bang, or if you're going to go full-fledged and hard press the entire time, or you're going to take it step by step as much as possible and do the least you can, no matter how easy it is, no matter how hard it is, to just not do more than what you can do, or you can do what you can't even do, right? You can figure it out as you go, right? You can not even do what you would do just because you can do something else that you would do, right? Because you can always do one thing, but you would also do another thing. There's always what you won't do and what you will do, right? But what you will do is not always just one thing or one way, right? It's not always just one way to do what it is that you will do, let alone the things that you will do in connection to whatever it is, the full, you know what I mean? The exact action is, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat in so many ways, right? But that's, if you skin a cat, that is what you will do. What is it that you're open to doing, that you are not against involving yourself with? Now that once you've learned it, once you said I'm gonna skin a cat, there's more than just one way to skin a cat. But you've already said that this is not a dog that you're skinning, right? And you don't skin dogs, you train dogs, right? And you can't teach an old dog new tricks, no? Right? So that's what you won't do. Is teach a dog. Because you over here, you've chosen to skin cats. Right? You're not training dogs. It's many ways to train dogs. So in other words, there's many ways to do what you won't do. Right? Just like there's many ways to do what you will do. Right? And so either way, you got to stay at where you start at. Right? enough, and also that's that margin, right? There's that leverage, right? We're talking about margins and leverages right now, right? But we're talking about the range also. You know what I'm saying? Your range is how hard you go, or your range is how hard you can go, right? Now, your leverage is going to start with how hard you go, right? Now, as far as how much you're able to ease off and give yourself that opening to do nothing, right? Because on the seventh part, right? On the seventh day, right? You're gonna already did it enough to where to do nothing in doing it, right? Basically, to do nothing in what you're doing is not to do more of what it is you're doing, right? Because you're always gonna have that momentum. You're always gonna have that charge, that energy. If you're charging energy, when you focus the energy, it charges up, right? It's feeding itself, right? So that when you are doing real things and it becomes more challenging, because that is the way life is designed, to challenge you, right? And life is living, and living is what? Living is action, is motion, is movement, right? That's the very nature of life, and action is animation, is movement. That's what gives us life. That's what light is movement, right? Light in itself is merely movement. Okay? That's why you got light waves. Yes, one wave is what? It's a frequency, right? The frequency is the speed of its movement, yes. And the vibration, of course, is the range of when it starts to return to where it started from, and whatever fucking degree of fucking intensity that it starts from. Yes, because you got brighter lights and you got some dimmer lights, my nigga. Okay, now that is the vibration of that light. Yes, you got frequency, you got vibration, no? Okay, as far as though, right, doing what you want, right? And challenging yourself. Don't let what you want be the easier thing. First of all, that's the point too. That's the main point, but you got to be able to be familiar with how to do what it is you like to do in order to grow within these things that are more involved, right? Because you're going to start somewhere, no matter what it is you choose. And wherever, and you're continuing, wherever it takes you is going to introduce you to now these more involved activities. It may be connected to something not so even relevant universally, that brought you to it, that opened you up to this right and will and right. But then it's up to you now to not stay, in a spiral, because you got cycles and you got spirals. Yes. To not stay in a loop, right? You got loops, and then you got fucking revolutions. Yes. Right. Because even as you revolve, you're rotating, right? Right. But you can get stuck rotating and not revolving. You know what I'm saying? Even as you revolve, my nigga, which is the cycle, you're rotating, which is the spiral. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to stay moving on with what you're moving on, right? Otherwise, it's moving you. Okay? That's why you got to stay moving with what you're moving on, right? So as for those cycles to be, as dynamic, your association with that cycle can be a lot more challenging, for one. But what comes with challenge? Growth, as we said. Yes? A lot more developing, a lot more enriching, a lot more advanced, a lot more universal, right? A lot more natural, for one. You know what I mean? This earth is our gift, man. This entire earth is our gift from God. God wouldn't have not gave us this earth not to see it, not to experience it together, right? Way before civilizations, my nigga, we was moving on this earth, family. That is why you have sacred geometry, ancient sacred geometry in every corner of this earth. I'm not talking about the hunter-gatherers, my nigga. I'm not talking about, you feel me, the mammals, cuz. I'm talking about the beings, family. Okay? The same ones, homie, who didn't need to write nothing down, you understand? The same ones who did not need to write anything down. I believe these Sanskrit songs are from the kids, right? So they can learn them faster. It was just something they did, right? It was just something they did while they was doing other bigger shit, because it was quicker for that, and it was fun. It was funner and quicker, right? Just like you play a game, right? A mind puzzle, right? Say for instance, you're an accountant or some shit, or you use your brain a lot. You gotta come up with new ideas, right? You're a designer or something. You're a fucking developer, right? And you want to, keep your mind juicy, you feel me? Lubricated. You might play a fucking Sudoku, or you might even, you know what I'm saying? Fucking have a fucking Rubik's Cube or something shit. You know what I'm saying? That you do. Or even like, say for instance, you fucking are a masseuse, right? You might fucking do your hand muscle machine fucking exercises every day. 20 minutes each hand, every 7 hours. It's just habit. It becomes habit for you, right? That's what that writing was, my nigga. Right? Niggas wasn't reading to learn it. They was reading to teach it. Right? So now we are, nigga, I'm not gonna say lower level. We just at a base level. Right, we on a outer level, as opposed to that inner fucking concentration of juice, right? To where now we relying on words now for knowledge, nigga. When there's inner knowing, nigga, aside from information or intelligence, which is merely information, is what intel is. Aside from intellect. Right? Being able to say something don't make you know nothing more, for one. Okay? Now, as far as power structure and knowledge being power, what is power? Other than an expression of energy. How you would want to will it as your right, so towards your advantage to utilize in whatever propensity and setting, right? Or connotation, yes? It's power, no? Pussy power. That's the first power I know of. I was taught. That's the 2 P's. Wow, you know what I mean? In my circles. Ain't no power outside of that. No matter what else you want to, whatever knowledge you got about it. To be honest, for one. To be honest. Right? Because you got information and then you have truth. Right? So what's the difference between information and truth? Well, then if there's a difference between knowledge and truth, then you see what I'm saying to you. Right? As far as doing and learning, right? And being able to do more the more you do. The further along you get, they say it takes 10,000 hours or 100,000 hours. And it's either 100,000 or 10,000. Ain't nothing but a difference of a zero. But that 1 0, nigga, makes that much of a difference as far as your lifetime, right? I mean, nigga, how many years is 100,000 hours, nigga? How many years is that? It's significantly a lot more years than 10,000 hours, which it takes to master any particular craft, to master it, to where it becomes second nature to you, to where you don't have to think about doing it, to where you could do it before you realize you've done it, before you're doing it better than anyone else that would do it, in your own way of how you do it, right? Because then you got skill, and then you have what is called style, right? Right, because then you got skill, and then you have what is called style. Technique, yes? Skill is going to take you to technique, right? Well, technique also can lead you to skill, right? Because how you learn to do something, you grow stronger in the way you're doing it, right? But it's also, the action is the action in itself. There's many ways to skin a cat, right? Now, you're very skilled at skinning cats, but you have a very strong technique of skinning them by boiling them and letting the fur fall off the cat, right? You skinned that cat, nigga. You a master. You did it 100,000 times, nigga. You's a master at skinning cats. Yes. As far as the skill of it, that's up to you. As far as how hard you're going, right? You're efficient in achieving it, in performing it, and you're successful in your success of fucking executing that action. But how skillful was it? You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever the technique was, is what I'm getting at, right? Regardless of whatever the technique was, how skillful was it, right? How stylish was it? Yes, right? You're going to become skillful. Skillful is your level, is partly your level of efficiency and competency. Yes, of course. But the other part of skill, the other side of skill is also your style, right? They say your skill set. So don't get it fucked up, my nigga. Don't get it fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? We out here doing, cuz. You better be out here doing. Because that's what it is to be, is to do. As a being, you are doing. Yes? Real shit. Right? But what's your style like, though? What kind of styles you got? Because me, personally, I got styles upon styles upon styles upon styles upon styles. Right? And all style takes skill. First of all. Right? So that's the triangle, right? The skill, the technique, and the style. Right? Because you can be unskillful at a particular technique, nigga. Right? And that will end up being your fucking style, nigga. And that shit right there will end up being your style, nigga. His style ain't, they say that ain't my style, nigga. What's your style? Oh, well, shit, I like big lip bitches. Or I like, I'm saying, I was gonna say big lip. I don't know what the fuck made me say big lips about, because that's not that I only like big lip girls, or that I do particularly like them so much. But you can see that sometimes that be nigga styles that they be with, you know what I mean? That's their style. A female, big lip female. Right? Or you see some nigga style is dusty females, right? Easy girls, right? Me, bro, don't get me fucked up, bro. Like, I'm a chameleon, bro. I like uniqueness. That's my style, yo. It's uniqueness. Okay? All the way through and all around. Okay? A lot of times it's choice, right? It's very scarce. It's a lot of bureaucracy involved, right? With a quality female, right? Quality tramps are going to be claimed, right? Are going to be spoken for one. You know what I mean? for the most part. Oh man, oh my God, I praise you, Queen. I praise you, Goddess, for keeping it thorough. Okay, off top, just to let you know what I mean, just to be certain and just to be particular, because it's not easy. You know what I mean? And that's that's another challenge, right? And that's the growth, though, and you know what I mean. And that's the strength. Right? Because you're either growing stronger or weaker, man. You're either growing stronger or weaker, man. It's the only two things that can happen. You can stay neutral. You can stay neutral, but neutral is not always balanced, right? But that is the gauge of the balancing, is the neutrality, yes? You understand? Now, you can grow in your concentration, right? Your intensity, your skill, right? Because that's another part of skill, is the intensity, right? With more skill, the less effort, but not always, because you know what I mean? That could be part of your technique, or rather part of your style, which involves your technique. Your style is always going to involve your technique, but your skill don't necessarily have to involve technique or style, but it will determine the both. It's your skill. Because the technique of how you're doing something, it may be mixed with another technique depending on how well you're doing it, right? So you got to be doing it at least 50% better than any other way you could be doing it for it to be classified the technique of how you're doing it. Because you can just get some shit done and it ain't got no technique or style to it. It's standard, basic. Okay? Achievement or fucking advancement, right? And that's that neutrality. Yes? It's the center point between strength and weakness. But you must know your weaknesses to be most stronger, yes. Which is the power of that neutrality. So you have to remain neutral in every degree of your range, is what I was saying, right? Be able to to purely do nothing, as well as so that when you're doing everything in nothing, you can be doing nothing in everything. So as when you get done doing all you can do, nigga, since life is challenging, you're gonna need to have a trick up your sleeve, nigga. You're gonna need to have, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Another twice as much to top it off. You're gonna need to be able to have another twice as much to top it off. You're going to need to, as far as what you want to do, whatever it is you're doing, my nigga, whether you want to do it or not, you're going to always need to be able to do twice as much as the most and best you can do just to top it off, in order to be revolving in your rotation. And this is the cycle. Yes? If it does not challenge you, it does not change you. It becomes a challenge, though, to do what you want to do. It becomes a challenge, though, to do what you want to do. Right? A lot of times we see what we want to do as the most natural thing, and natural not necessarily meaning easy, and simple not necessarily meaning basic. However, the most direct, the closest thing to you is what you want, because first of all, you have not thought about who you are, for one. You have not thought about what is possible, your capability as well as possibilities, as well as capabilities. You have not thought about it first. Because I guarantee you, when you are able to do that, when you take the time to, when you make the time to, when you save the time to, when you spend the time thinking about who you are, what you really want, thinking about what it is that you can do, that you will do, thinking about what there is to do, Okay? I guarantee you it's going to change you even before doing it becomes more challenging, even before the challenge of starting it, right? Because because it could be new or cannot be new, right? Regardless, if it's something that you want. Okay. Anyway, right? It's going to change you when you approach it skillfully, right? When you approach it stylishly, right? Then the technique in the technique now is made even more clearer to you, right? You see all what you're doing and what you're doing. You see all what you're not doing. First of all, you're not fucking training a dog. You're skinning a cat, right? Those don't even relate, right? That's what you will not do and what it is that you are willing and you're fucking doing, right? It shows you the range as far as what all you're doing in what you're not doing, what all you're not doing in what you're doing, when you approach it skillfully and stylishly, because you got style and skill in whatever it is you've been doing, nigga, this whole time that led you up to a fucking decidedly conscious choice. You know what I mean? We talking about your life, my nigga. What it is you want. What you want for your life. Not just, you feel me? You know what I mean? Regular, everyday type of, necessities, right? We talking about a side, I say. So first of all, that gotta be, you know what I'm saying, factored in. Firstly, that's, you know what I mean? That's all that's basic, that's automatic. That's not necessarily unrelated, but that's additional, right? It can involve it, but that's where that thinking comes in at. And sometimes it's just, you don't really necessarily gotta think about it because, you stand true to yourself, my nigga, first of all. So it's gonna come to you naturally. It's gonna, you know what I mean? The perfect idea is gonna be the first thing you think of when you're being true to yourself, first of all. Right, and through just doing that and doing it more and doing more of it every time you do it, then you're basically saving time because honestly, basically you gaining the momentum, like you creating fucking opportunities. You're creating options, nigga. In that, homie, staying true and also doing more of what it is you're doing every time, which is a challenge, is what I'm saying to you, brother. You see to where it becomes challenging because motherfuckers feel away for one, cuz. And being that whatever it is you're focused on, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, nigga, is manifesting in your life and also magnetizing your atmosphere, my nigga. That means it is involving whatever is in your surroundings, nigga, and that's other people for the most part, nigga, being that we are in this civilized, stationed fucking rotation, okay? Because real niggas was navigating, cuz. Real niggas was selling the seas, nigga, before Columbus, homeboy. Before slavery, my nigga. Understand this, nigga. Understand it, nigga. Which is why they put that shit in that book, nigga, for you to read, nigga. Fuck you talking about? It's what I'm talking to you about. It's the facts, and it's the fact for a reason. It's the facts, nigga. And it's a fact for a reason, cuz. I hope you hear me, man. Not to get all extra excited, man. All I'm saying is, my nigga, you magnetizing that ignorant energy, nigga, whether you realize it or not, right? So what I'm saying is it gets harder to do what it is that you should be doing, cuz. Even though you should be doing the shit. Even though it's rightfully, nigga, it's your right, nigga, and divine purpose, nigga. Aligning your own personal will with divine will, nigga, is what it is you should do. It's what it is. It's how you even find what it is for you to do. And even in that, assessing your capacity and the possibilities as to your best association assessment, your best estimation. No, yes. We talking about ranges, yes. We talking about margins, yes. Okay, right. Aligning that will with divine will, my nigga, and it's gonna be through the different ways to do that, right? But that is the activity. Skinning a cat, aligning your will with divine will, yes. Training a dog, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you equate it with, whatever it is that you're choosing. It's not skinning a cat if it's training a dog. It's not training a dog if it's skinning a cat, right? Either way, that's the action. And the action is what? What did I say what the action was? Aligning, which is essential for awakening, which is essential for ascension. Yes? Elevated action, elevated comprehension. Yes? Elevated associations. Yes? The revolution in the rotation. Yes? You know what I mean? Because it's only the reference point. Everything is everything and everything's connected, right? So that's why you got to be able to do nothing in everything and everything in nothing. Did you hear me? All right, so I was making a point about it being difficult to do. First of all, anything that you stay doing, right? You can do something enough and then change it and turn down the nigga. You was skinning cats, nigga. You had nigga 50,000 hours. You was almost on your 100,000 hour, nigga. You got 5,000. You almost to your 10,000 hour, nigga. Mastering skinning the cat, nigga. Now you didn't change to training dogs, nigga. And trying to act like because you have a skill, you're skillful at achieving because you was achieving this one thing over here. Now you still mastering achieving. No, to a certain extent, you're mastering fucking neutrality is what you're mastering. Right? You're mastering neutrality, right? When that's part of what it is that you're supposed to be doing, but it's another way to do it. It's a way to do that within finishing, right? You know what I mean? You got to be able to be clear on everything you're doing. And we're not even talking about doing two things at once, nigga. Right? We're not even talking about multitasking, cuz. Right? You want to act like that's what you're doing. No, nigga, unless you're doing something, the whole of something and the whole of something else, nigga, you only doing half of anything you're doing. Until you doing the whole of more than one thing, nigga, you only doing half of anything you doing. It's the part, nigga, you gotta be skinning cats and training dogs is the whole part too, like, though. If you gonna fuck around and even include neutrality, though, family. As I'm just saying, though, from, you know, the stylish ass master that I am, you understand? I'm just able to say this to you. Do I have anything to show for it? All I just said, nigga, is what I got. Is one thing, nigga, I would show, but like I said, as far as, you know what I mean, being able to explain it and make you know nothing even more. First of all, my nigga, because how many people know, nigga, that the ascended masters, nigga, navigating this entire planet, nigga, before boats, before you're the first quote unquote historical installment of boats. Yeah, they have these artifacts. They're not open to the public. Why not? Because it's heavy. It's a challenge. And are you ready for that challenge? You know what I'm saying? You absolutely would have to choose it first. It's the part as what you want. And there's no reason why you would never choose that as what you want, because for you to want anything, it has to be real, and that is the real as it gets. Yes? So you fake want something and you fake want something fake for one. Right? But the only thing that's going to snap you out of it, going to awaken you, is aligning for one. That's going to remind you is the very principle, the very truth that you would not want anything unless it was real. Right? Now, you may not know How, right? That's that technique, right? Because it's either one technique or the next. Even in the most neutral, you're doing a little bit of every technique. You just ain't started to master none one of those particular techniques. Because even once you master one technique of how to do something after 10,000 to 100,000 hours, nigga, you still need to master another technique skillfully and in whatever degree of skills, right? You start with the least amount of intensity. And so you're this skillful at it. But if the shit was to pick up, if you know what I mean, if some unexpected challenging things were to pop off, you might have 100,000 hours in the regular skill and the, competent skill, my nigga. But then what happens when it gets real? You can be a master in a neutral skill. But if you ain't mastered it at every range, which would take another 10,000 hours, not necessarily, because like I said, the more you do something, the more of it you do. So it's multiplying, especially this second time you start at a different degree of skill, whatever technique now then you're employing in this range of skill. So don't be satisfied with that 10,000 hours. I don't know how many years that is, my nigga. I don't know how many years that is. But that's why it's just that much more important, nigga, for us to be working together, family. Right? Whatever type of competition come along with the territory, nigga, whatever it is you choose. And there's always competition within yourself. Against your techniques, nigga. There's competition. Right? And that's just, and that involves the style or whatever, that you got your own particular style. Your style is now related to whoever else might be doing or is able to be done, regardless of who might be doing it or not doing it. You know what I mean? 100% or 90% or 22%, 11%, whatever percentage, right? Of style, of technique or skill. Yes, I say go 4,000, me personally, because that's when you just started to stump with the real marchers. You know what I mean? It's just that much more challenging. But if you ain't challenged, then you ain't changing. Right? And you got to be able to be versatile, nigga. You got to be versatile. Yes? Al-Zia in Arabic, I believe I learned. So I've tried to say this to somebody in Arabic. They didn't understand what I was saying, but you be having an accent. So it's like you might be saying something that's like a person say the word sometimes. If you don't know that they're trying to say sometimes, you be like, what are you saying? Sometimes, or sunlight. What are you trying to say? Sometimes, like they heard the word. They don't necessarily speak the language. They just have translated from whatever it is, how they learned how to say what it is that they're trying to say to you, right? They might say it another way in their language, but they learned the equivalent, right? They learned the fucking relating way to say sometimes in the sound of whatever language that they're trying to say it in. But they don't speak that language, and so they don't know the syntax as far as the correlation and association of sound qualities. And that's that range in itself. The technique of speaking is a language. The skill is your pronunciation, right? Your style, though, will have a nigga trying to say something that even a person that speak the language will have a difficulty understanding. Is the style, right? Because I can say for shelf drazzle, and my styling ass motherfuckers who speak English, if you want to call it that. Because even if you don't speak a word of English, nigga, if you around us, then you gonna know what I'm saying when I say for shash drazzle. I'm saying for sure or for show, which that's a ebonics within ebonics, because I'm saying for show, which is already ebonics. If I say for shash drizzin to a nigga, he gonna be like, he ain't even gonna trip off the shit. He gonna automatically understand what I'm saying to cuz. Now, a person don't even speak a word of English. Well, no matter how much they around real hood niggas or not, Nah, I won't say that because if they're around us enough, then they're going to already understand just without us not saying a fucking thing, nigga. They're going to hear the love in our voice, nigga. They're going to feel the love, nigga. Whether they blind or deaf, nigga, they're going to feel the love in whatever it is that we expressing, cuz. For shadow driven. Okay? But they may not speak nothing. They may not know how to speak English. They don't even know that I would be saying for sure. Right? And so they might they try to go explain that to somebody else, don't even know what it is that they learned from an a stylish English speaking person or being. And so that's what I'm saying. As far as alafzia in Arabic, I believe that means versatile. I had asked this one person how to say versatile, and they said alafzia. I don't know how to say it or where you put the air at in it. I've been wanting to really confirm that in my mind and commit it to my memory, right? Because then now it's on my soul, but I'm really particular about all of that, you know what I mean? I don't want to be doing too much without doing enough. Yeah, loco, you still gotta do another 10,000, a whole another 100,000 in the same technique, right? Because even if you start 100% skill, right? As far as skill involves, nigga, your efficiency, as far as, nigga, your attention to detail, you know what I'm saying, your persistence, you know what I mean? Determination, right? Because you got determination and you got persistence, right? Determination means that no matter what happened, you still gonna try and try and try again, even if you aren't as persistent in your attempts. As far as persistence means that as soon as you can is persistence. It's not even so much as you can, right? Because that's also determination, right? But persistence means that you're gaining energy, you're charging in your advancement, you are increasing in your velocity, right? And that becomes much more challenging because, of course, you know what I mean, depending on your structure, whatever your vehicle is, that could be your mind in itself, that could be your body in itself, that could be the relationship in itself, that could be, you know what I mean, the actual art form that it is that you're attempting, could be the actual vehicle that you're increasing this particular velocity in. Yes, as far as the persistence, you know what I mean. I'm just saying, like, what's enough? It's still people out here hungry, cuz. What's enough, nigga? It's still famine, homie. Right? What's enough, my nigga? You understand me? It's still fucking homelessness, nigga. What's enough? Okay? Aside from disease, aside from fucking obesity, aside from climate, aside from fucking crime, nigga. Fuck all of that. We as beings, humans, from the very dust that gives us this light and love and life, are not even are not connected completely to start to increase anything, to start to accelerate at all. And that's by no accident. No. Because before that word, before that written word, that is, I'm going to reiterate this to us. Because before that written word, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. In the beginning was God, and God was the Word. is speaking of the written word. It's not actually speaking of the written word, but that's what is that they're saying in saying it at all. Because first of all, ain't nobody said it to you, because then you will be able to, with your soul, see what they're saying and feel what they mean in your own growth through doing, right? As opposed to saying no. It's something that you would have had to read. And now some people are saying, based on the fact that they or others that they have spoken with have read. Written on motherfucking paper, nigga. That written word. Cuz. All right. So, as far as, before that, wasn't no motherfucking starvation, nigga. Wasn't no homelessness, nigga. Niggas was building pyramids, nigga. All around the world, cuz. Niggas was moving 100-ton stones, nigga. Chiseling them into fucking miraculous, marvelous art, nigga. Together as one, nigga. Fed, focused, nigga. Before that, written word, nigga. So as far as like what you want and what you think you want, be thinking, right? Because you know within your soul what it is that you first of all need, and it's not no motherfucking printed ass money, which will buy you what? Life. Ain't not gonna buy happiness. Don't get me wrong, look, nigga, with money in my pocket, I seem to be a lot happier. But that's not always the case, and it's not determinant on that. It's just that I'm a little bit more free to be happier and not so as focused. Because, of course, I can now pick up my momentum, and that in itself, for me, is enjoyable, nigga, is an enjoyment for me, right? Because if I ain't got to worry about having to stop what I'm doing, then I can do it a little differently. You know what I mean? Just as far as universally speaking, as far as just, practically speaking, wisely. You know what I mean? It's not about, well, should do it, the nigga, do it to the fullest until you can't do it. No, it ain't about what the fuck I can't do, nigga. Ain't a fucking thing I can't do, I'll choose to do, nigga. And until I sign over that right, until I relinquish that right, family, by doing some shit that I shouldn't do. For one, by not doing what it is that I should do. For two, until I sign over that right to the ethers, nigga, to the law of nature, nigga, regardless if the police is there to catch me or not, cuz it's a situation for real, right? And so it's layered, okay? Layered in the law, of course. There's levels and layers to the law and the litigation, nigga, the stipulations, nigga. All right? The ranges, yes? So don't get me wrong. I'm at a particular angle myself. I'm always at particular angles, as we all are. There's 360 degrees, right? And from one angle of the 360 degrees, whatever that degree happens to be on in this rotation, in this revolution, whatever that one angle, whatever degree that one angle happens to be on out of the 360 degrees and 360 angles, but angles are connected to other degrees, right? An angle is a degree in reference to another degree, yes. Whether it's another person, another place, another thing, or your own self or decisions and assorted actions as far as different degrees within the 360 of each instance or each fucking reference, yes? Whatever it is that you're applying it to. It always relates to its stark polar contrast, and that is the referencing instance or fucking angle, basically, because an angle is in relation to a degree. And a degree is in relation to what? A circumference. Man. I mean, come now. We speaking. We talking about a nigga circumference, nigga. A circumference, nigga, is what, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Is it inclusion? Yes. Or an exclusion? It's what a circumference is. Yes. It's your frame of reference. Yes. Okay. There's always going to be two circumferences. Okay. It's called the pisca viscus. Okay. Yes. Now, when those fucking circumferences interlock, right, or supplement or fucking sub fucking overlay or whatever the fuck, you get that, nigga, that V, nigga, that yoni, nigga, that pussy power, nigga. Right there between them, nigga. Now, how wide it may be, nigga. Now, the closer those two center points, right, those angles, nigga, which is a degree in itself, is 0 degree, nigga. Right? And fucking emanating from that 0 until you get to whatever fucking rim of that circumference is going to be degrees from in between 0 to 360. Now, the edge is 360. Now, you may be spaced out enough from whatever other point of reference to where that rim of 360 is not haven't even overlaid or has not even intersected the rim of the other referencing emanation circumference, right? No matter if it's smaller or larger or even the equal size. Now, you want to have the equal size, right? The equal emanation, yes? The equal, not degrees, not angle, but equal energy, equal entity, yes? Existence, the equal energy, right? Because the energy is going to determine that circumference, right? The energy is what determines that circumference. Yes, that intensity, your skill, right? Which you can then associate, you can then experience through your skill, right? Which is your will, right? Which your will is, you become skilled through your technique, right? And your skill becomes fucking your style through your mastery, right? You feel me? You can't have it. Your style ain't your style until you finish, until you mastered it, until you completed the full revolution, not just the rotations, right? In that cycle, right? Because now you're a master, but now you still got to master your mastering, right? And that involves that other fucking circumference. You know what I mean? It's going to interchangeably and also as well as simultaneously involve through your growing and decreasing, increasing and ranging and fluctuating those two circumferences, right? The circumferences being the structure of these degrees and angles in reference to degrees, because an angle is what? Is whatever degree it happens to be at the moment. You feel me? In reference to the opposite, to the complementary degree of the relating circumference. You feel me? The reference circumference, the two circumferences. You dig what I'm saying? In this case, for better iteration, for better clarity, or I guess for another example, the two circumferences is skinning a cat and training a dog. In enough ways. However, in whatever degree of skinning a cat, which would be of one circumference, right? That degree is an angle in reference to the opposite or the polar circumference, which would be training a dog. Yes? Now, the same degree or whatever degree of skinning a cat is not always going to be say for instance, negative 24 degrees of skinning a cat, it's not always going to be negative 24 degrees of training a dog. It may be 24 degrees. It may be 42 degrees. It may be 173 degrees. And it may not even remain 173 degrees. It all depends on the factors, nigga. All the different, 360 different factors. Rotating factors. Okay? The 360 rotating factors. You feel me? That are connected to whatever degree you're focusing on in the angle that you're taking, or that you are exploring that angle. You're now developing that angle, right? You're performing that angle, right? You're learning that angle, basically. And you're mastering this particular circumference, whatever it is, right? There's only so much you can do in whatever it is that you're doing. It's a part, right? But you're doing everything and anything that you're doing, for one, right? And you're doing anything and everything that you're doing. In that you're doing anything and everything that you're doing, that means that everything you're doing anything. I said, you are doing everything and anything that you are doing. Did you hear me? I said at least I am. I don't know about you. At least I would like to be, but I've compromised in ways that I wouldn't have necessarily even chosen to otherwise. But it was, in fact, that I did make that decision, right? Now, whatever that decision was based on, circumstantially or not, is another angle, okay? In itself. Now, that angle may have remained, right? I got to catch it on that revolution. I have to catch that rotation on that revolution, so as to match that fucking angle. Right now, however long that revolution take is different for different things. A revolution may be, for example purposes, for clarity purposes, it's 360 days. Nigga, 365 days is a revolution. Nigga, rotation 24 hours, nigga. Right? Now, see, you're gonna have an angle in that 24 hours, okay? Now, that angle, whether you stay with it or not, or you follow it to whatever other angle, to where now it includes many other angles, right? It's only that angle on that particular moment of that day in the span of 360 days, 365 days. Okay? Now, that's what a birthday is, no? That's what a birthday is, huh? Right? So, for example, right? Now, those are your decisions too. You know what I'm saying? Those are your actions, which is an action to decide, right? An action to think, and thoughts lead to your decisions, yes? However, your confirmating action is a degree in reference to degrees, right? It's a degree connecting to a degree, however fucking mathematical calculus sort of geometric nigga formula I'm referring to. I'm sure it's something that I just probably nigga gave away, nigga, for free, nigga. Right? As far as though angles and degrees, right? Degrees are angles. Angles are degrees, right? But a degree is a degree in itself, even without your angling it. Because in any one full thing, you have to do it fully. That means that it is exploring the degrees of it from 0 to 360, right? And with 0 in 360, with 360 in 0. And all the numbers twisted and turned on itself and bouncing off of each other in between that, right? That means at 12, you able to be at whatever 12 from 360 would be. 12 from 360 is what? Nigga, 48, right? 248. No, 348, right? So that at 12, then we ain't talking about negatives. We ain't talking about negative degrees, nigga, right? From 12 degrees out of the 360 degrees of any particular circumference, skinning a cat, right? You able to also identify with, consider, resonate with, right? 248 degrees, right? Now, I gave you an example because, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? But there's also negative 12, though, right? And there's also negative 348, let alone 349, 350, because that's what 12 more to the full, and 12 is 12 more from the less, or from the start, right? So that means what? In 348, you should be able to reference 360 for all example purposes, because that's an easy example. This is an easy example, okay? Because we're starting with 0 to 12, right? Which you're starting with 0 in any number, right? And it's beautiful because there's only 360 to work with here in this level. Okay? And that's a blessing because niggas can hardly work with -1 out this bitch. Right? If you ain't considering, like I said and was saying, 12 before you get to the 12 from the where you would go to. Right? Because that's what you call that leverage. Yes? The 12 is the leverage in whatever 12, right? Right? You start with 12. That's your angle. The 12 is the degree. That's the degree. The 12 degrees is your angle. In that angle, or even in the degrees before you get to angles, that's your degree. Yes. That's your degree. We still talking about degrees. Okay? Because when you get into angles, then that degree is in reference to a whole nother circumference degree. Right? Because there's never one without both. Right? If anything is anything, it's only what it is not. And that is that not contradictory, but contrasting. That is that complementary, nigga. That's that complementary circumference, nigga. It's exactly everything that it is and what it isn't. Because that's the 360 degrees of any particular anything. Which, as I was saying, anything is everything and everything is anything, right? You're doing everything in anything that you are doing, that you are thinking, that you are saying. In that, everything is any particular thing. Yes, you are doing everything in anything. Enough. We're speaking about enough here, yes? To an enough, you know what I'm saying, of a degree. Now, whatever it is that it is you're going to rock with and roll with, you got to stay with what you start with, yes. But it also incorporates and involves all of everywhere it can go. In this revolving, in this rotating, this rotational revolution. Okay? Now, you're doing everything and anything you're doing in that everything is anything. Okay? I'm gonna say it to you quite clearly and fucking precise to you. You're doing everything, anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about, you feel me, getting away with shit. I'm not talking about, bare minimum. I'm not talking about the easy thing. Brother, whatever it is you're doing is going to become easier, right? Unless you're just satisfied, right? And you have to be very careful with satisfaction. You feel me? Because it's made to work with you or against you, right? It's just a point of reference. It's a degree, satisfaction is. Now, what is the full angle? Is that experience, is that growth. Right? So unless, I hope you following me, I love you. Unless it is satisfying for you to challenge yourself, to be challenged, then you have to be very careful with satisfaction as far as what is enough to do. Don't get me wrong. You have to start somewhere, but you have to stay with where you start and be mindful of that. Anytime you see where nigga your degrees is becoming, or your angles ain't matching the degrees, right? Because whatever it is that you choose, my nigga, a revolution is involved with that, not just a rotation. By tomorrow, nigga, the moon is not the same exact place, nigga, right? Which the moon has to do with the rotation around, or rather the revolution around the rotation, which actually is 16 phases of the moon, not just 13 phases, but, right, because there's a phase in between each major phase. Okay, now that's another secret, but it's challenging. So if you're not ready for the challenge, just understand what it is that you're choosing, right? That's a choice you're making, right? And each choice you're making, it's connected, it's stamping that revolution, not just the rotation, right? And now the revolution of the moon will help you keep things in perspective. Okay, for one. However, whatever that angle is, you get to finding out where you get to doing shit to just make sure you're doing enough. I mean, we can't help it sometimes. You just gotta stay open to these angles. Yes, because the angle happens with degree in reference to degree. The degree is the same every day, right? Every day, even though the sunrise is at a different time and the sunset is at a different time. Every day at this, and this is better explains what I'm saying to you, right? At the same time every day is that degree. At the same time every year, which is 360 days, is the angle. Okay? Because, like, for instance, yes, every day at the same time, that's that rotation of 360 degrees in itself. And that's how that zero is in the 360. And the 360 is in the zero. But it's still got to go all the way to 360 in all the numbers, let alone the negative numbers. Okay? Now that comes when you are able to connect 360 times those angles. And that take what, how many 360 years? That take 360 years in this particular example, right? We're talking about what you can resonate with, what you are able to understand as far as rotation and revolution, right? But that's happening every day. That's happening every second. There's years in every second in that sense of what I'm saying to you as far as the degrees and angles of the circumferences of these particular energies, right? Some are micro, some are macro. Some take more than 360 years, but they're still connected to every fucking moment, no matter what the duration of time you want to put on it. Because this is omnidimensional, right? And time is a mere dimension of experience, right? It's how to master time. It's how to, you feel me, style your techniques off as far as experience, as far as satisfaction, as far as what it is your desire is. Yes, and your passion, right? How do you experience your passion other than through ecstasy, right? Other than through change. Yes? So, I mean, this is what I'm speaking on, right? This is what I'm speaking on. You know what I mean? If it don't challenge you, it's not going to change you. I'm going to tell you right now, though, it's going to become challenging to continue to do anything you do because there's all of these different things involved. And sometimes that other circumference is unaware that there's even another circumference that is angled next to, or all the different angles that it is, that each of its degrees and negative degrees correlate with on that particular moment in the revolution, right? Now, every day you can kind of sense it. There's still that residue as far as that fucking leverage from the day before. If you are in it and fucking open enough to catch the remnant trace of it that next day, let alone the next month, which will be even a cruder residue, as opposed to that leverage until it can align on the exact moment, which will be a different minute the next year, but the same minute, second, millisecond, nigga, right? In reference to angles and degrees. And so, nigga, basically, that's how the fucking degrees change, basically, right? They change, they have a range, they have a fucking fluctuation. Nigga, that's how a degree can change based on the angle that the degree particularly is, that you take the degree at, right? But it's going to return, it's going to be the same angle, or the same degree. The angle will be the same degree, again, in the full revolution, whether it's 360 days or 360 seconds, whatever the revolution is and whatever the action is. It's not always fucking the earth going around the sun. Sometimes it's you speaking to your mama. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's, nigga, you wearing the color fucking orange. You feel me? It's like it offsets different angles. You know what I mean? Imagine you were orange every day, nigga. That's actually going to have an effect on other things that you would never even expect for it to have fucking effects on, nigga. And it's just that simple. Imagine it, nigga. Just imagine you wore orange every day, nigga. You wouldn't have the same life that you would have, nigga, if you didn't wear orange every day, okay? Your chakras couldn't even balance if you was to wear orange every day. If you wore orange every day, then yes, that angle will remain the same. That angle will then draw every other angle to it. At least will open up your recognition most clearest, because then you're still focused on that angle, right? It's going to show you that angle in every other degree. It's going to show you that degree in every other degree, right? And it's also going to reveal the different angles of which degrees connect and the different circumferences in your actions, right? In the energies in what it is, your environment, yes? Okay, and atmosphere is what I'm saying to you. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And the more you do, the more angling you're able to do. You know what I'm saying? That degree gonna stay that degree the longer you're angled on it, but you gotta be doing angling, okay? And able to connect those degrees in what is called synchronization, right? Because whatever the revolution of this other fucking circumference is, it may not be the same revolution. And I would imagine it wouldn't. I mean, these are two different bodies. No two bodies revolve the exact same way, no matter how essential to each other they may be. Kind of like Sirius A and Sirius B, right? The sun and the moon. They have their own revolution. The sun in itself is a star revolving around a black hole, which is the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And we revolve around that. But those are the two circumferences, no? That's the two circumferences. But then we also have a moon that revolves around us. And we have our own relationship or angling to do between those two circumferences, in relation to the angling we're doing between the two circumferences, that is the sun and the moon. Yes? So the moon and the sun also have their own angling. And that's where you get a triangle. That's where you get and that's where you get a triangle from. That's where you get triangulation from, which is the positioning of any particular thing. It's triangulation, literally speaking. Okay? These are all moving at different speeds. These are all different and moving in different fucking circumferences, right? But they are the same in that they have a circumference to begin with. Okay? And that is the relatability. That's the challenge, is aligning that. You know what I'm saying? Allowing yourself to be as natural as possible. Allowing yourself to be as natural as possible so that it makes more sense without you having to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because thought is one thing, but will is another thing. And it takes will to even think, right? You only got so much willpower, but in charging your willpower through this triangulating that we're always doing, regardless of whether it is we're using it to our advantage or to our benefit or not, or utilizing it or not, we're charging that willpower. You know what I'm saying? And so the challenges become part of the activity at that point. Be satisfied with growth. Be satisfied with growth. Okay? It's a part.